everyone, this is Tiffany. I'm going to be doing a quick scrunchie tutorial with you today. This tutorial is for Rainier Fabrics and Blankets, and they will be doing scrunchie sets where it would include everything you would need to make a scrunchie, and pre-cut fabric, pre-cut elastic, and you would just make your scrunchies with what they provide. So they'll do little pre-made kits. They'll include a strip of fabric and a piece of elastic. Now, for the scrunchie tutorial, all you really need is a basic sewing machine. I use one with a zigzag stitch. This is my vintage Singer Fashion Mate, and it makes it really easy and simple because the machine is so simple. First thing you're going to do is you're going to take your piece of fabric and you're going to fold it in half, right sides together, lengthwise, and pin or clip. I'm working with the brushed jersey today, but you can use any of the fabrics that Rainier offers for scrunchies. So this can be done with any type of fabric. You want to make sure when you're clipping or pinning it that you're getting enough of them so that it doesn't slip slide on you. Piece of bread there. So you'll have a piece like this, like I said, clipped right sides together. And what you're going to do is you're going to start sewing about 1.5 inches from the top. You're going to sew all the way down along the edge, and then you're going to leave about 1.5 inches at the bottom. Anytime you're sewing on a sewing machine with knits, you want to kind of hold these threads when you first start your machine. Once the threads have formed a stitch, you don't have to hold these or pull these anymore. That just pulls on it to give it some tension, so that way it doesn't get like clogged in there. Now, I always go very slow with my sewing machine because sometimes with knits especially, they can get pretty slippery and get stuck in the machine. There. So the slower you go, the more control you have over your fabric. Knits can be real finicky, but as you can see, it's a really nice stitch there. Careful not to get your fingers under the needle. I'm just kind of using my hand to keep this fabric together where it should be. And like I said, you get to the end here and you want to leave about 1.5 inches open. Pull that out. Snip, snip. So you have a long piece. So, but like I said, you have this open on one end and this open on the other. Now, it doesn't have to be a perfect amount. You can do whatever you want to leave open on these ends, but you just got, I would say, at least 1 inch. And then you're going to want to turn it right side out. There's tools for this called bodkins. I find scrunchies don't really need it because they're pretty easy to do. but some people prefer to use the bodkins to make it easier. But I find it quicker myself just to use my finger, put it down, kind of hook it with your finger and pull it up. Okay, so now I have one piece of fabric with about a hole on each end like this. So what you're going to do, you're going to want to make sure it got twisted. And you're going to want to fold it like so. So the openings are on the outside. And you're just going to clip or pin these ends together. Now the smaller you do your scrunchies, the harder this part is because it's just awkward on the machine. But I find for any scrunchie where the starting width of the fabric is at least about 3.5 inches, it's not too bad. So I'll show you. I've got this pinned together, and you're just gonna do a seam along that edge. Again, holding that thread. Scrunchies are a great little project. They're a great thing for children to learn to do. Sorry, I want to show you guys can see this. Because they're just pretty much straight stitches. So it's definitely good to learn on if you're a beginner. Alright, so now if I kind of pull it, whoop, it has made a tube. But as you can see, there is a hole. There's got to be elastic put in there. So I usually take this time to trim any really long pieces of thread just because they tend to get in the way. And then the next thing you want to do is put the elastic through. Now some people will use a safety pin for this. I like using my bodkin. Makes it a lot easier. You just kind of attach it like that. And then you put it through the hole. And it goes all the way around. Sorry. You just want to make sure you're holding onto that other end. You don't want it to get lost in there because then you gotta start over. Just like that. So now, I have my two ends of the elastic, and I have my scrunchie. So now I want to just make sure my scrunchie has this seam all along the outside, because sometimes it can get messed up when you're putting that elastic through. So you just want to make sure that it's not going to be all twirly. But see how I have this seam all the way around the outside. Now, I take my elastic and you overlap it about 1/2 inch, and you're going to run that through your machine to close that up. Some people like to use glue to hold the two pieces of elastic together. It can be a little difficult sometimes, especially if you're doing like a smaller scrunchie, to keep the elastics together because it's like such a small spot. It's hard to like pin it, but you just gotta like get it under your machine. And once you get it under there, you want to lower your pressure foot so that way it's stuck under there and it's good to go. Now I run through it once, and then I pick up my pressure foot and I spin it around like so. I spun it around, so now I'm going to be sewing back over what I just did. Make sure none of your scrunchies stuck under the pressure foot. Make sure that's pulled to the side like that. Some people will reverse stitch. I find it just easier just to turn it around and go back over it. So then now I have my pieces of elastic sewn together. So now they can go back in. And now all we have to do is close it up. So I usually line up the seams right here, like so, and either pin or clip that. Because if the seams are lined up, then everything else is going to be. Now, when I start, you can kind of see here where my seam ended. I usually start top stitching it just like, I don't know, a 1/4 inch before that. And then I also go a 1/4 inch past it, just so I make sure I'm getting everything and it'll be closed up enough. Now with this, I'm going to use a straight stitch. And I move my needle to the right for this one, so that way it's as close to the edge as possible. I'm, like I said, starting my top stitching with my needle to the right, about a 1/4 inch over where there's already stitches. I'm gonna hold those threads. Make sure you're going right along that edge. Go nice and slow. Sometimes you kind of need to help the fabric along if it's getting caught under your foot. And then I go about a 1/4 inch over. And back stitch. And go back forward. So now, as you can see, I had it done about as close to the edge as I could get it. And then you just want to kind of play with it until you get the proper scrunch. Everybody have a good day and enjoy your scrunchies.